What's going on, y'all? What's going on, y'all? Back at it with another video. Today, I'll be going over the story of how I became a profitable trader. This could probably help you guys out with maybe, becoming more profitable over time and maybe just understanding a couple questions you might have about why you're not profitable yet, right? So let's go ahead and get into it. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you guys watch this video to the end. At the end, I got a secret to tell all of you. Just starting off, bro, how I want to start this video, about myself and how I started trading. I just want to be as transparent and honest with you guys as possible. A lot of people get into trading and everyone's story is different, right? I've had people who I've seen get into trading first month make $10,000 or more, right? I've had people their first month join the trading and they lose all their money, right? Everybody's so different, so it's so hard to depict how your kind of trader you're going to be. But how I started, I would say, is I met somebody, Wild Bray, right? I met him. I saw him with the Tesla. I saw him making all the money. I saw him trading, and it inspired me. Seeing someone my age having that level of success and not working essentially made me realize there were so many different ways to make money out there, right? A lot of people, they think about making money. They think about, scamming. They might think about selling. They might think of a lot of unorthodox ways of selling money that isn't conventionally, legal, right? With me, I've always thought of when coming to making money, I want to make not only a surplus of money, but I want to make a lot of money without having to ever think about looking behind my back. And seeing that someone my age back then, like 4 years ago, was able to make that amount of money and anybody can do it, it was outstanding to me that anybody can do it, right? And how I went about it was I asked him, could he coach and teach me the skill, bro? Look, I want to quit my job. I want to go full time with this, right? And like anybody else, he told me he had a lot of friends and family that weren't willing to take it seriously, but they did not want to get to the next level. I told him I'm not like everybody else. I want to learn this skill. I knew it was real when I started becoming cool with him. I saw on a day-to-day basis he wasn't working. Wherever we went, anything he bought whatever he wanted, food, this or that. It was never I didn't have it, right? I remember back then I had a process where every time before I made a purchase, I'm looking at my bank account. Do I have enough money for this? Do I have enough money for that? If I spend this much money, this is how much money I'm with, right? And I realized I never saw him do that. I said, all right, so he's doing something right and I'm doing something wrong. So one day I said, look, bro, I'll give you whatever. I'll give you anything, bro. Just please teach me the skill. I paid him a good amount of money. And just like anybody else, he took the money and ran with it, and I would say I started off with a funded challenge, MFF back in the day, and I got a $13,000 payout. Just seeing that the money was real and getting that money in my account made me realize that you can make money from thin air. I didn't know what trading was. It's like I had beginner's luck. A lot of y'all probably get into trading. You're like, oh, in the beginning it was so easy, and then it gets harder and harder, right? I was like the same, right? I was very hard-headed. In the beginning, I didn't want to learn. I didn't want to study. I didn't want to engulf myself into the knowledge. I just wanted to make money. I will say that's one thing that held me back from getting where I wanted to be quicker, because I thought I knew everything. I had good months, I had terrible months. And the reason that was is because I didn't have any rules. I didn't, have a trading plan. I didn't know if I was an over leverager. I didn't know if I was an over trader. I didn't know what kind of trader I was. I just knew I wanted to make money. You might be asking, after you got that 13K withdrawal, what happened? I made that money, right? So long story short, I made that 13K, right? And after I made that 13K, man, I was doing the wrong things with that money. I was buying clothes and I was, going out drinking. I was having a good time with that money. Instead of reinvesting into knowledge, instead of taking that time to take that money and maybe put it into a live account or maybe buy more funded accounts, I blew them. Boom, I thought I could do it again. I blew the account. I thought I knew everything. I was trading about 100 times a day. One thing I wish I could go back and tell my younger self is take my time. Trading is 90% strategy. You could trade every day, but you're not going to win every day. No one has a 100% win rate. No one is going to tell y'all like, yo, you're not going to make a lot of money at the beginning because you're going to fuck up because of who you are. For example, me, I had the game plan. I started off, everything he told me to do, I did, and I had success. When I started over leveraging, when I started over trading, when I started sticking my plan, when I started getting too confident, losing confidence, thinking I knew everything, I started losing because I thought I mastered something in seconds when I knew it was going to take time. The whole time, I never realized that I have to master myself, master my own psychology. And one thing I feel like that took me from being unprofitable to profitable was understanding the type of trader I was. So, for example, my problem could be I'm an over leverager, right? I might take one trade a day, but I risk 30% of my account when I take a trade. Whereas in Bray could be example, he might risk 1% of my accounts, but he might take 30 trades in a day, right? Two different traders with two different problems. But unless you can key in on that and understand this is where the problem is, this is how I can go about it, you're never going to get to that next level. You're never going to be profitable because you're always going to be stuck in a place where you don't know what you're doing wrong. And sometimes it's always good to have a mentor or a coach, someone from the outside looking in to help you because they can show you what your problems are. Like think about a doctor, they got to go to medical school. Think about a cook, they got to go to culinary school. Think about a football player, they got to learn from a coach, right? Any level of success takes learning from someone who's already done it, that already has success, right? So I had to understand that. So I had to learn more and learn more and learn more. And once I realized I overtraded too, I over-leveraged too much, and I realized that I shouldn't even trade every single day. So I got to a point where I was like, all right, you know what? Let me take a step back. I only traded 2 to 3 times a week, and I only risk 5% of my account. I know y'all might be asking, so if you're on a live account, should I risk more if I'm on a funded? On the funded account, a 100K account, I say risk 1% a day, keep the pain a day. You go from 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5, 1 to 6. You got to lose 10 trades in a row to lose your account. Back in the day with MFF's rules, right? So I had a trading plan set for every week when I traded. This way, every day I had the same plan, the same strategy. So it wasn't like every day I'm just spiraling, right? And I was journaling a lot. So I would journal my trades, and every day after I traded, I would look through my journal and say, okay, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. I did everything right. I'm happy, right? Boom, I stuck to my rules. If I didn't got outside of my rules, I didn't see success, I knew where the problems were coming from. You need to understand that you all are so different. You might have a guy who's not pressed for the money, right? So win or lose or draw, he's happy, he might be chilling. You might be someone where I need this pair. In trading, the word I need is one of the dangerous words that will ever, it's one of the dangerous words because you needing means you're going to over leverage. You're stressing yourself. You're mentally hurting yourself. You got the competence to understand this could be a life-changing skill that can make you and financially free and never work again, but don't rush it. Let me tell you why a lot of people quit trading, right? They get into it, they expect the craziest results in 1 week, and then they don't get the results they want, and they realize, oh, maybe this might not be for me, right? You have some people who come into this, and they want to learn, they get a minute of dopamine, then they never lock in. And you have some people who come in, put their all into it, study hard, lock in, and they receive crazy results in a month. That's why you can never dictate who's going to be better, who's going to be worse, because it's everyone's so individually different that you never know who's going to be better, right? For example, I can click buy, and you don't know what I'm doing on my screen. I could be taking partials. I could be stop profits in my entry. But for you don't know what you're doing, you might sit there and let the trade run all the way back down and switch you out. You're like, I didn't know what to do. Well, you should have studied. So you can never expect someone to hold your hand when it comes to this. You could have a mentor and a coach and take people's trades and do all that, but unless you put your time and effort into it as well and you match the energy, one is not going to overdo the other. A lot of people say, how long did it take you to be profitable? I say it took me about a year to really make consistent money. Like when I first started, I'd have ups, I'd have downs, I'd have good months, I'd have terrible months. But what really kept me to, like I said, after a year, getting to that point was sticking to my rules. I came almost like a robot. It's not only every week I was looking for the same thing, but it was like, bro, if I woke up some days and I didn't see what I wanted to see, I would just go back to sleep. It's like I had complete control of my mind and my body. You know, I didn't have the urge, the itches. I didn't want to trade in London session. You know, I traded New York session, not only session I trade. Only trade one pair. I trade NAS 100, and I go about my day. One thing I will say that really changed my psychology and made everything a little bit harder was funded accounts, right? You guys got to understand this. Say, for example, you buy a $100,000 funded account, right? Boom, you've been trading on that account for a month. You're used to making $1,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a day, right? Whatever on the funded account, right? And boom, 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 boom. You go to a live account. Say you put $5,000 in a live account. Would you be happy with making $300 on the day when you was making $3,000 on the day? On a fund money, it was funded account, so it wasn't real. Or a demo, or not a demo, but an eval challenge or a challenge account. It messes with your psychology because you might never be satisfied. I know one problem I had was when I started my first live account. I remember I took a trade, I put $5,000 into an account, and I made $300, right? I made $300. That's all mine. I could have withdrew it that day, wired it to my account with a regulated account, but I wasn't happy. I wanted to take more trades. I'm so used to making $2,000, $3,000 on the day. It's like I was itching to cheap trading, right? Instead of being happy with my $300 a day. Some people had to work hours to make that $300. I made it in 30 seconds, but I was upset. People will change their perspective on money so quick from funded accounts because you might buy a 50K challenge right now with Top Step for 50K, but you might make 3,000 a day. But if you made that on a live account, you put $50 in the account, you're not gonna be happy with no little money. I wish I started more with live accounts. I wish I took that first payout, put that 13K into a live account and just continue from there. So I would be happy with little profits. Like now, obviously, I trade with the higher leverage account. I trade with the 50K account and a 16K account. And with those accounts, obviously, I make good money on a day-to-day basis, right? Whereas when I first started, I wasn't happy because I was used to trading on 100K funded, 50K funded, getting payouts. And I'm like, you know, it's cool that I can pay myself out every day and make my money every day without having to give 50% of my money away or 60% of what I made away or 25%, whatever that number was on whatever your eval or funded account is. But I wasn't happy. So it put me into another hole where I'm over leveraging. I'm blowing my live accounts. I'm taking too many trades again. And I had to almost refigurate my mind into saying, okay, JP, we're happy with 300. We're happy with 500. We're happy with 600, okay? You're not there yet. Baby steps. Over time, it wasn't about the money. It was about the setup. Okay, I just risked 5 points and I just took a 50-point buy and I just, boom, profit TP hit, right? It was more about having successful trades and knowing my bias was correct. And it was less about the money I was making. I stopped looking at my profit and loss. I started just looking at the charts, looking at my setup. And that's when I knew everything started to make more sense. Because it wasn't about the trade and how it played out. It was about, was it a good setup? Did I take a good trade? Am I happy with what I just did? I realized my mindset swifted over from money to just being right. I was happy to be correct. I was happy that I called out a trade and my bias was correct. Because you can call a trade and call a buy and price manipulates, but it still goes bullish on the day in your New York session, right? If you can depict manipulation and understanding, you can look at it every single day, you can depict a good entry and your good bias, any strategy will work out because your daily bias is so strong. When my mind sort of swifted over to I'm just happy that I was right, I knew I was getting somewhere because I was starting to be more proud because I was having more winning days. You know, if I saw too much top, I didn't have a bias, I just walked away. So I realized trading wasn't a day-to-day thing for me. It was more of when I see it, I see it. If I don't, I don't. And then from taking 5 trades and out of my 5 trades, taking 3 losses and 2 wins, it went from me taking 10 trades, out of 10 trades, I'm 8 wins and 2 losses. All because of those little things I switched around. One thing that a lot of you mistake about trading is that it's a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not. Yes, I know people who their first month they made 10K. Yes, I know some people who've turned up very quickly, right? But I don't want you to think their results will be your results. You don't know what they did. You don't know how much they studied. You know how much work they put in. You don't know what they did. They might just be mentally stronger than you. Everyone's so different. So when you might ask how much money did you make this month? Bro, how did trading go for you? You might have a buddy trial trading. He might have success. And you might be, I don't know if I want to try that. You might be smarter than your boy. You might put in more work than him. Trading isn't like other skills where if he does it and he does it, or she does it and she does it, there's competition. You can click buy and he can click buy at the same time. You can both make money and there's no competition, right? Trading is about individualism. You almost have to be addicted to not only success, but the freedom that comes with trading. Because trading isn't something where you can do it from anywhere. You don't have to go in an office. You don't need to hire someone to do this and this task for you. It's very simple. And I want you to understand that this comes with a lot of perks, right? You know, you're not going to get into trading and immediately see $1 billion from this in your first year, but it can get you to a point where you're very close, right? And I feel like the one thing that really kept me trading and kept me going and kept me being consistent was knowing that eventually I'm going to see success. Eventually I'm going to, if I stay consistent, it's like going to the gym. You go to the gym every single day, you're going to be ripped, right? It's the same thing with trading. You stay consistent, you're going to see results. So that is how I would say the process of me getting, I've been trading for 5 years now. I would say the process of me getting to being profitable was not only consistency, but learning myself. And I hope with everything I just told you guys that it gives you a better understanding on how to become profitable and how you can go about obviously taking your next steps with trading, right? If y'all look on my YouTube channel, I have plenty of videos on the best broker, how TradeLocker works, how to get started with trading. If you guys do want a mentor, like I said, go ahead and follow me on Instagram, FundedJP. Shoot me a DM if you have any questions about how you can get started with trading, and or obviously, you know, if you have any problems, I can maybe help you out. And the one secret I want to tell you all that at the end of this video, that obviously to get you where you want to be, is consistency, bro. I don't want y'all to think that it's a master plan to this. It's consistency, bro, and sticking to it. The second you stop trading, the second you quit, the second any money you invest or put into this, it's out the door, right? But look, y'all, I'm so happy y'all could listen to my story and obviously tune into this YouTube video. I love all y'all. I want y'all to be safe. Tune into the next video. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at FundedJP. And obviously, if you ever want to learn about trading or get into trading, go ahead and click the link down below in the description. I have a free course that can go over how you can get started. And look, I love all y'all. Y'all be safe, and see you in the next video. Peace out.